This video, we get to talk to one of our own viewers and one of our own WhatsApp group chat members. This cat is sharp. This is a brother that you need to listen to. Watch this interview. Follow along.
You're watching DC-born Rob, Erasing Borders.
All right. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located, and thanks for joining me. Again, I told you I had a special guest today. Today I have Terrence with me, who is one of my viewers who actually just made the trip to Medellin and got back to the States, back to the Matrix. And when I saw him comment today in the group chat, by the way, make sure you join the group chat. He commented, you know what? I just got my ticket back to Medellin. I'm like, dude, I need to get you on. So let's welcome Terrence. Hey, Terrence, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. Hey, appreciate you there. So wait, you know what? That's what I forgot to put this on, man. You my homeboy from
yeah, I love it. Yes,
from
sir.
the area, Oxon Hill, right?
Yes, sir. Oxon Hill.
Oxon Hill, Maryland. When I was 16, I had a girlfriend live over there near the raceway, Rosecroft or something like that.
I'm like 5 minutes from there. So this is a new building. I think it used to be the IRS building. It's there's like a Home Depot right here in the corner. PetSmart. Everything is right here.
Good location, man. And right on the other side of the bridge too. Great location. So he's a homeboy from DC. So we show him special love for all my DMVers out there too. Hey, so I just want to jump in and ask you a few questions. You know, you give me your honest opinion about how your experience was. I wanted to have you on because, you know, who better to tell the story than somebody who just went for the first time and just got back. Okay. So, so you said you're from New York originally though, right?
Yeah, I'm born and raised Jersey. I moved down here last year from Queens because of my job or what I do for the government.
Okay. And you
yeah.
just turned what?
I just turned 50 this the 19th of this month.
Let me tell you something. Everybody in the group chat knows he did his birthday trip right. We got to see the videos too. Thanks for sharing too. And I encourage everybody who's going down, let us know the process too. Let us know, you know, the check mig and all that stuff when you get there, the COVID test, all that stuff coming back. Let us know because then it helps the next person. So much appreciation showing that too. And you had a birthday party at Chef Jay's, right, at Brooklyn.
Yeah, at Brooklyn, man.
How was it? How's the food?
Yeah, I posted some pictures, but it was just wonderful. Chef Jay is such a great person. Gave me a nice dessert, which was, I mean, it was so rich and oh man, it was wow.
Well, and I don't know if you know, but a certain percentage of every check that of my viewers that go there goes to our local charity there, which is Comuna 8. So a percentage of, he's taken, it didn't come from you, it came from him. He's donating a percentage of the check to Comuna 8, the El Faro neighborhood. They need help, man. Let me tell you, I'm getting ready to donate another 100. My girl's gonna copy that. I'm gonna ask my boss for another 100 too. This will let them go very far. So you just, by going there and celebrating, you just don't know. You just fed a couple of families for a week or so.
Yeah,
so
I knew when I was there, I would have tipped in a little bit more, but
no, man,
awesome.
Hey, I'm glad you participated and got to at least have that experience. I haven't been to Brooklyn's before. So he's opened up after, you know, and there, when I was there wasn't even Sweet Georgia Cafe #2. So I'm going to just skip ahead since I mentioned the name Sweet Georgia Cafe. And I've always told you guys before you go down, this is the place for resources. So when you went there, you met Rob, right? The owner.
Yes, sir. I met Rob, the owner, his girl. It was just wonderful. Like, again, like, because I had saw your videos, I knew about it. So I looked them up online. And originally, we got to know each other and just a great experience. And so I had planned that evening to go back to the other one in Pueblo, and I did. And fortunate enough, he was having a movie night. So, I mean, it was just a great atmosphere. In both places, I got to plug into the network of expats that live there. Some cool brothers, man. And
good group of brothers. I'm telling you.
Good group of brothers, man.
Yeah, and if you're going to move there, you almost have to go there. You have that safety net. You feel comfortable when you go there. It's just a different vibe that he's established there. You went to both locations, or you went to Los Ellis as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was the first one I went to, and then I went to Pueblo. But just, I mean, you know, again, good food, and the oxtails were really good, and the mac and cheese. So a
Yeah,
little bit of home and in a different country. So it was nice. It was really nice.
I know. I know. And you don't miss it until you there, and then you just missing some seasoning and some spices.
Right, right.
But I missed the beginning of what you said. It kind of, I'm having issues with the internet again. The first thing you said when you got to Sweet Georgia Cafe, you introduced yourself to Rob. What happened? You just walked in and said, "Hey, what's up?"
So I was already in Sweet Georgia, sitting down having a little salad and drink. And again, because I saw your video with him in it, like I recognized him when he came in. And I said, hey, excuse me, sir, you're Rob, the owner, right? He was like, oh yeah. And I said, no disrespect, but I saw your video with the other Rob that lived here, DC born Rob. Like when I said that, he lit up, and from that point on, we just, we exchanged information, and we talked for a while, and it was just a great experience. So I was very happy to go there.
Excellent. You get plugged in. So you're on the WhatsApp group for them now, right? So for Sweet Georgia?
No, I didn't get on that one yet, but
actually, man, that's a must do, because then you know when it's movie night, when it's steak night, when he just put out something that's 50% something tonight, or football.
I just texted him a little while ago, telling him I was coming back, and he was like, "Man, I told you."
When I was there my first day, because I had to work and I knew he had Wi-Fi, I'd seen videos before I went down, and so when I walked in, he was like, where you going? I was like, I'm going to work. You open, right? You got Wi-Fi. And then we started talking, same thing. And he's like, and I told him my story. He said, you ain't going home. You ain't going back. And I was there for a few months, but I loved it, man. I loved it. So good. I'm glad you plugged into the network. So you met a bunch of brothers while you're there. You were there too, right?
Just so impressed with the love that they showed me, and just to see like people like me, like in a foreign country, living, got away from the matrix. They're out there doing their thing, making moves, and it was very impressive. I mean, unfortunately, I had to leave the country to see that, but it was just, the love, the honor, and respect, amongst men. And like I was watching one of your videos earlier, and you said something that really like rang to me. Like, as Black men, we don't really talk about stuff, and we have problems and we keep it in. But there, it's like you have people like you can actually like go to and depend on. Like, I mean, like when my birthday was on Friday, like I had literally met people like a day before or the day of, and they came out to Brooklyn and show love. I was like, man, I was almost in tears, but I was like, man, this is dope, man. Like, just the feeling and the vibe. I was like, man, this is cool, bro. I like this. Like,
it is amazing. I was going through some stuff when I moved down there, relationship wise, and I remember getting sat down and talked to. I mean, like I said, brothers, we normally keep our issues in. We don't talk. We just, jump off a bridge or walk in front of a truck or something. We can't take it no more. But being able to have that group, that crew that like I said, I made some excellent friends that are still friends today. So yeah, man, that was a blessing to be able to have that experience, man. I'm glad you had that experience. So let me ask you this, had you ever left the country before?
Yes, sir. So I was in the military for a while. So, I mean, my dream is to hit all 7 continents before I pass. So going to Colombia was my 5th continent. So I've been to Asia, Africa, Europe, all of North America, Mexico, Canada, and now I had the opportunity to go to South America. So
excellent.
It was amazing. Yeah, so I'm very well traveled. So
okay, do you speak Spanish?
Not really. I mean, it can be improved. I mean, I thought I was okay, but when I actually got to Colombia, I was just like, yeah, like I need to go ahead and brush up. Because a translator, I mean, it's helpful, but it doesn't really, like, it doesn't translate, like, it translates the words. It doesn't translate, like, the meaning or your intentions of saying something. And a lot of times, I feel like if you don't really have a grasp or at least a basic knowledge of Spanish, and you're just using a translator, people are going to be looking at you like, what are you trying to say,
Exactly. But I tell people, and if you've seen my videos, learn Spanish. I tell you 3 things: learn Spanish, and learn Spanish. It'll be a shock. You don't realize that 95% of them don't speak English, and the last 5% don't want to speak English. So it's on you to take that step and learn, just at least enough to be understood. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, it's going to be a struggle.
And I'm a person where, like, I started watching like Spanish TV, reading some Spanish stuff, and like just some people that I met, like using WhatsApp, just writing in Spanish. It helped me like kind of start recognizing and like trying to speak some stuff. So I lived in Germany for 8 years, so I speak fluent German. So languages are like, I'm good at languages. So
Okay.
it helped that I already knew a foreign language with Spanish. But I was there for 8 days, and I mean, I felt like if I stay there for probably like 3 months, I think I'll be good.
Okay. In short, what would you say to the viewers going down for their first time? How much should they learn in Spanish? Should they attempt to learn some words?
Yeah, I mean, I would learn like basic greetings, basic questions like, do you have coffee? Do you have toilet paper or something like that? Basic stuff, because like the people are so friendly there. Like if they see you trying to even, they don't care if you can't speak, like they'll know, but they are so helpful. They'll be like, oh, I know what you're trying to say.
So the moral of that story is learn some Spanish.
Yeah,
Learn some
learn.
Spanish before you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to Colombia, so you wanted to go to South America. What made you want to go to Medellin?
So I have a friend that works in he goes down quite often, and I was looking at between Medellin, Bogota, and Cartagena,
Mhm.
and just from like reading some like online reviews, watching your videos and a few other people's videos, I felt like for me Medellin would be a good starting point, and I'm very happy that it was. I mean, I'm just very happy that I went there.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I had the chance to go to Cartagena, Bogota, wherever. I never left the city. I went to El Peñol and Guatapé, but that's it. The rest of the time, can you explain what the weather's like?
Yeah, it's a reason they call it the city of eternal spring. I mean, it's between 75 and 80 all every day, and night was like around 65, it was beautiful. The Airbnb I stayed in, it didn't have AC, but like really didn't need it because it rained the last couple nights I was there.
Yeah.
And so the rain in the 60s, I was like, I'm good, man. It was hard to come back to the snow stuff. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it's a struggle coming back after that. I tell people I never shut my balcony door or my window. Never.
Yeah.
One night it got a little chilly, I shut it. Other than that, the video that I just put out, the redo, you hear noise in the background because the window was open. And I wasn't savvy enough to shut the window, make sure I was understood. But okay, so take me from you got to the airport. What was the check mig deal like? What were the issues? Is there any information you can pass on to people going for the first time?
Oh, yes, sir. So again, like watching your videos, I got a lot of information. So definitely, like before I left here in the States, you had to do the check mig. And once you do it, it's an app. It's called Check Mig. Mm-hmm. They email you. You have to have the email from Check Mig, and you have to have your COVID test. And they want, I would tell people to have like a printed copy and like your online copy, because when you're doing the Check Mig, they're going to ask you to upload it. So, those were two major things that you need, your COVID test and the Check Mig. So like I flew American going out, and American has another app called Verify that you have to go through and you have to fill out. But having that information was really helpful because it kind of like sped up the process. Mm-hmm. So once you get to the airport, you just show them your Check Mig receipt there's like some barcode on it. They scan it, it checks you in. I mean, then I showed them a paper copy that I had a negative COVID, whatever. And I mean, it was pretty smooth selling. Tad bit, like, the information you put out about the other Robs, Sweet Georgia Cafe, like having them do the COVID, like that was good for me. So I just went there like on Friday morning. I got the PCR test done literally by, I think like 11, 12 o'clock at night. I had the results back. They email you. I mean, the lady, she came in, she did the test. I mean, it was very fast, very professional. So I was happy to have that. They also do it at the airport too. I mean, they do like the PCR test and another one. The PCR is like 280 Colombian pesos, and the other one is 80,000 Colombian pesos.
That's the rapid, the antigen test. Yeah.
But I didn't want to test it because coming back was like a whole nother ball game. Like, so I flew from Medellin to Miami, getting into Miami, and like I've traveled the world and I never saw this before. Everybody coming off of the plane in Medellin, they had like the customs agent at the top of the steps when we came off the airplane checking people's passports. Once we came through there, we went through the other, checkpoint and got our passports. And then from there, we actually had to go pick our bags up. And everybody on that plane, they searched their luggage. I mean, they were literally like taking stuff out. And I was like, I seen where they spot check, but like this one, it was everybody. But you know, lucky for where I work at, like as soon as I told them where I work at, they basically discontinued my search and let me go. So I mean, for me it was okay, but I mean, I was watching the other people, like, I mean, they were like, you know, there's no shame in the game, so be prepared to have your undies and all your little stuff like on the table.
Yep, and you got to put it back in right because they don't care.
No, they'll just dump your stuff right back in there and zip it up and tell you to go about your business. But luckily, you know, I just tell them where I work at, and I mean, they let me go, so it wasn't an issue for me. But you know, people need to be aware. Like, I mean, maybe they're not gonna do that on the next flight, but I would just be mentally prepared to have that because it took a long time to get through the customs. Like, you know, with like everybody on the plane being searched, like. But you know, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So when you got to the airport there, did you have a ride? Did you have a driver, Uber?
Oh, in Medellin? Yes, sir. Your driver, Andrew.
Oh, you had Andres. Okay.
Yeah, call Andres, and man, he's so cool. So what happened is I had a friend that was meeting me there, and her flight was late. So Andreas was just mad cool. So I took him and we got something to eat and we drank and we just chopped it up because it was like an hour wait. And he ain't charging.
Good guy, isn't he?
Yeah, man. I was like, man, this dude. I was like, I'm glad I watched your video, man. And he was like, look, if you need anything, just here's my number. And I had to text him a couple times, like, hey, like what, what's the story on this? He was like, oh, blah blah blah, and he took care of it. So very very good point of contact.
Yeah, he's a great. I don't know if you saw my older videos when I was there, but he was my guide while I was there, turned friend. So that's how I got to see the El Faro neighborhood firsthand and see the need up close and personal. So I suggest everybody who's there do that tour, find out where the percentages of checks are going, because a percentage of, he owns a tour company. He did the airport pickups and drop-offs for me as a favor. So I said, okay, just take a little percentage of that and donate it too. So it came to like $40, I think, for maybe 8 or 9 of you guys. That's a lot of money for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know when I go back in April, I'm definitely going to have to plug in and go and help, because I did the Commuter 13 tour, and it's wonderful. And I love kids. I have a daughter myself, but what happened with me is like I asked the tour guide, like, can I get a kid some money? And she's like, well, like she'd rather me buy them like some snacks or drinks or whatever. So I ended up buying probably like 20, 25 kids, like, like some little candies and some like bubble gums and stuff, but like there's some for the kids, and that was my good deed for the day. But the kids, they loved it, man. They were so tickled, and it made me feel good. I mean, little gesture. I mean,
it goes a long way down there, man. Our dollars are strong, so what little bit you give is you don't realize it's actually more than than it is in a dollar. So that's good, man. Let me ask you, where did you said you stayed in Airbnb. How did you choose your Airbnb, and what did you think of it? How'd you like it?
To be honest, I chose it on price. My government salary is limited, but it was good. I mean, it was in Poblado. It was very close to the Poblado train station. There was, literally you go downstairs, there was a whole bunch of restaurants. Actually, it was like a 2-minute walk from Brooklyn. So I didn't even know until I had been there almost a week, and I was like, oh, Brooklyn, right there. So, I mean, you could walk pretty much everywhere.
So if you're walking up 10th from the metro, Brooklyn's is on the left, right?
Right. And so my Airbnb was like, if you come up out of the train station, a block before you make a right to go down my street, and then that's where I was staying in the Airbnb. So it was very convenient.
You're right around the corner. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
How'd you like the Airbnb?
It was nice. I mean, nice little room, bathroom, had a kitchen. I brought some food and I was cooking, and I had some drinks in there. So I tried to save a little bit of money that way, which was good for me. So I mean, it was a good choice. I think in April when I go back though, and people are gonna say, oh, I want to stay in Poblado, I want to go to Parque Lleras. That for me was not really what I was going down there for that scene. And it's cool. It's cool. But that's I wanted to see it. I saw it. Whatever. But April, I'm gonna try to stay in Laurellis because it's more more local. It's more a little relaxed, and it's kind of away from the all the touristy BS. So that's
exactly. Some people go and want to be around more tourists. When I moved there, last thing I want to do is be around Americans. Now I had my brothers at Sweet Georgia, but that was just my spot where I go to unwind. But when I'm out and about in the city, I don't want to be around people up at Yetters acting crazy. And they do. I mean,
you gotta, one thing I want to tell the viewers, like, I say go see it if that's what you want to do. I mean, by all means, but be careful. Like, I was in the club and, me and my man, we had brought a bottle and stuff, and it was a whole story, but, that jersey came out of me. I was kind of mad, so I stepped outside to try to cool off. While I was outside, it was like another restaurant across the street. It was like mostly locals, and a fight broke out at a place that was across the street from me. And like people from all over was like, they just ran over there to see what happened. But then the police came in, and like, they do not play down there. Like, they was coming in with the billy clubs, and they like, they pushing people to the side and like, knocking heads. So if you see something happening, like, go in the other direction.
Where were you? You were at Yetters?
I was at Yetters Park, the club, but like the place that the fight happened was across the street from that. So, but again, like, that whole scene wasn't really what I'm into, because like Yetters Park is kind of like just a circle with just nothing but clubs and restaurants. And like, when you out there, you got people asking for money, and you got people asking you to, go for company, whatever. And for me, it was just too much at night. Like people coming like next to you, then like, my street sense going off, like, like, hey man, you a little bit too close, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they slick with it. Like, want to be talking to you in the front, and then like somebody will come behind you, and next thing you know, your cell phone or your little monies or whatever is gone. So I had that personal bubble, like, hey man, like, but you just be respectful, say, yeah, like, that's not my thing, that's not what I want. But one thing that I found, like, at least in Yetters Park, is a lot of people think about it, like, especially like Black Americans, like, we down there for one thing, and that's, I had kind of a situation with a girl, because I'm like, I'm not here for that, and she can't believe, she's like, oh, what you mean you're not here for that? It's like, we're not all the same, like, we but that's just in their mind, like, oh, you American and you Black American, I know what you're here for, type of thing. It's like, well, that's not true.
So was she a working girl that said that?
Yeah, working girl. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I don't know if you heard the live talk the other day, but I brought on someone who lives there, who was giving us some information, James, about it. And he's like, he said a lot of women, the good women, look at you and think, when you are American, they think, okay, sex tourism. Sex tourism, that's what you hear. So they kind of pigeonhole you for that, because there's obviously there's a lot of people going, for them to have that perception, obviously it's for a reason. So yeah, that's why, I went up there after I, and had a few drinks at my same place on the corner, right next to Gusto's, coming from Dance Free. Other than that, no, that's not the place to hang out at,
Yeah, nah, I mean, but again, I tell the viewers, like, go see it for yourself.
Gotta go.
But just be careful, don't drink too much. Don't leave your drinks, don't take drinks from people. I mean, again, like, people are really friendly, and I felt bad because I don't want to be an a-hole, but like, somebody be like, hey man, you want something to drink? I'm like, nah, I'm good, partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate it, but I go ahead and get my own. That way I'm 100% sure ain't nobody scoping me. Nah, I'm good.
Good. I'm glad you saw the videos on getting scoped. So I do have a question above. I'm gonna skip ahead since you brought that up. What things did you do, and what would you suggest? You just gave a few, but what other things would you suggest doing to stay safe? Like, did you have a money sack? Did you have a money pouch? Split your money up in your pockets?
Yeah, so I learned that from one of your other videos. So I brought myself like a money belt, and I kept like I have the passport ID. So I locked up my passport at Airbnb, and I had that, like, one credit card and like limited cash, but I had it tucked in the money belt with my shirt over it, so like nobody
don't really even know it's there.
And then, like, as far as like telephone, so again, like, from watching your videos and a couple other ones, like when I was coming from the airport, like, I didn't have my phone out. I was just looking at, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. Like, the drive is beautiful, but better safe than sorry, because there's a lot of motorcycles like whipping by on both sides. So I just felt it better just to keep. So I would say, like, have a money belt. And if you're in Yetters Park at night, I wouldn't. I mean, if you have to have your phone out, I would go to like a public place or right by the police, because there's police all around the park. Other than that, like, I wouldn't pull out my phone I mean, again, because you got people everywhere, you know, especially like once you get up off of that little circle, you know, you got people like the street performers and, you know, the little Venezuelan kids asking for money. You know, like I had a dude rolled up on me at night, was like, hey man, I'm trying to get some food for the family. And I felt bad. I was like, I want to give him something, but I'm like, I'm not reaching in my belt, because that's when I'm like, nah. But I was like, hey man, you know, I apologize. I don't have no money. And I just kept it moving.
Exactly. And that's what I say, you know, you want to give sometimes. I don't, here in the US, I don't go in my pocket to pull money
Right.
out. So when I feel like I need to hand money to somebody, I'll walk down the street, I'll take it out, then I'll come back and go, oh, I had to grab $2 from my girl or whatever, and then hand it to them. But they don't see me going in my pocket.
Yeah.
And that's another good thing too, to put money in separate pockets too. A little bit of money here, maybe some coins over here, 200 pesos. But that brings up another question too. How did you get money, since this is the first time you went? How'd you get money when you got there? How'd you get the cash, the COP?
So like I went to someplace out in Virginia that, like before I got, just to do like $100 just to have money for when I got there for the ride.
Okay.
But then when I got there, I went to this place in the mall. Like it was by park. It was by Poblado something, but they had like a little money exchange, and I went there. But then like the other times that I needed money, I just used the ATM. I
Yeah.
mean,
Bank Colombia, yeah.
yeah, Bank of Colombia, and there was this place called Exito. It reminds me of Walmart.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, only biggest difference, like they sell alcohol and liquor and stuff in there, which I was like, man, I was like, what? They got liquor in here? But they had an ATM in there, so it's a public place, it's big, so it was right around the corner from my Airbnb. So I think I took money out like 3 times. I went over there, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, like that machine specifically, it lets you take out like 1 million pesos at a time, which I mean, you know that kept me for like 5 days, to be honest.
Yeah. So you were near the Exito on 10th Street then?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That Exito. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. You have to know about Exito if you're in in Medellin. Yeah. So you got the Airbnb there. How did you did a lot of events? I mean, a lot of excursions. How did you choose them? And you know, how'd you maneuver around? How'd you make that happen?
So I did some research online, just because I know who I am, and like I'm an adventurous person. So like I did paragliding in San Felix, which was absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was like 66 American dollars, but I mean, I was like, come on, man, like that here in the States would have been probably $200-300, but the experience itself was just, and I went by myself. I mean, like I'm not gonna wait for no folks, like, you know, and I'm scared of heights, but I mean, it was just a wonderful experience, like the drive up there to San Felix, looking, you know, like looking at the little neighborhoods and going up there, and then like the actual paraglide. I mean, I was like, man, this is outstanding. And then
I know. Yeah.
What else I did? I went to Guatapé and Peñon. Again, like I found those online, because like Airbnb, they have like a list of things that you can possibly do.
Yep.
So just by me looking through there, I was like, oh man, that looked fun. Like I wanted to do that. So I just started picking out tours. I said, well, I'm gonna be there for 8 days. I'm gonna do probably like 5 things. So I just picked out like the top 5 things that I wanted to do. And again, like the dollar strong. So I mean, I was like, why not? And
exactly.
you know, thank God.
Exactly. That's how I met Andres, was an experience from Airbnb.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows, Airbnb is not just, you know, rentals and places to stay, but you can also do experiences too. And that's where I met Andres.
Oh wow.
On a walking tour somewhere. I did coffee tour. I did all kind of stuff while I was there. But did you get to go over off of 70? Well, I'm sure you did.
No, so that's one place I didn't go. I was gonna go like the last night I was there, but then I was with a friend of mine, and you know, we just ended up chilling. But when I go in April, I'm like, that's where I'm probably gonna most likely hang out, over in 70, because again, for me, who I am, you know, like I'm glad I got to see Parque Aires, but that's just really like that's not my scene.
You have to go. You have to go. You have to experience it, and then
yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, like going for one night for me, you know, I said, okay, I did the Parque Aires thing, you know, now you know, I got that out of my system. I'm good. Like, you know, let's move on. But, you know, like Hooters is like around that area too. And that was kind of like the meeting point where I had met some other expats. So that was kind of like our meeting point. And I mean, you know, Hooters is Hooters worldwide. And it was, you know, food's cheap, beer's drink, and the visions are very good. So
good deal. So you're on the group chat. We have a WhatsApp group chat line. So again, if you're not on it, you need to get on it. Send me your number and your name to dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, and I'll add you to it. It looks like in my internet connection, I'm still having some issues on it. But okay, so what do you think about the group? You're in the group. Did you get any? Are you getting any benefit out of the group?
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, that's like another source of information in the group. I mean, people ask like a lot of good questions, put out a lot of information. I mean, like even like when I was coming back, I was telling people like, hey man, like be prepared to like have your, like go through security. I put like I think I put my paragliding experience on there and the pinwheel. So like I think it's really good because you could get a lot of vital information from there. So
yeah, I think it's valuable. I'm glad I started it, and people just need to know it's about travel. It's about travel to Colombia, travel to Medellin, Colombia.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Okay.
Right, yeah, I know, right.
That's what it's about. So yeah, the goal is to give you guys resources, and that's why I do this. That's why I send you to Sweet Georgia Cafe, because I know the resources that are there. I mean, me just telling you and Terrence just telling you is not going to explain it fully. You just need to go and get plugged in. You have to get plugged in there. You have to stop by and see Chef Jay at Brooklyn's, have your own little sections, and then go out from there, wherever you want to after that. But Rob at Sweet Georgia has, if it's not steak night, it's not barbecue night, it's not oxtail specials, it's not, I mean, he's always got something going, man. I mean, he's got a phenomenal operation. And to be a brother in another country, making it happen like he did, man, and I told him, I give him props, man. I admire him for what he's accomplished so far. Just coming there and boom, opening a business.
Yeah, very impressive, man. I was so impressed with him. And I actually posted, I didn't post it in the group, but I took a nice picture with him. And the people that work for him are just, very friendly, very professional. I had a great time. So this, like I was saying earlier, like just the experiences that I had in Medellin were for me, paragliding, going up, walking up 700 steps.
Man, did it kick your butt or what?
Yeah, and I'm a marathoner. I run marathons, half marathons. But let me tell you, man, when I got to the top of that joint, I was like,
people don't get, it's not just, okay, you're walking up some stairs. First of all, you're already in the mountains. Now you're climbing another one. The air is so thin, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
man, am I out of shape? I thought I was in shape.
No. Yeah, like, I was with my friend. I had to tell her, I said, hey, hold on, man. I got this. I had to sit down on one of them steps for a few minutes and recoup.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, all right, dude, like, come on now.
Yeah, you think you're in shape until you get there and start climbing up them hills. Even in Poblado, same thing. So let me ask you this: what you had to interact with businesses? Any tips you can give people for their first time on daily? Did you learn what propina is?
Yeah. But the funniest thing for me, I was saying, is I used my credit card one time, and the waitress asked me, did I want like how many payments? And I was like what? Like, I don't know. So like my friend I was with, she was like, you can pay for it over time. I was like, how you gonna pay for food over?
Yep, they will split $3.
Right. I'm like, no, man, go ahead. I'm like, put it all on there. But the propina was like, when they asked me that again, like I was like, what does that mean? And so basically it's like, yo, you want the tip in, or like you don't want it in? And I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, look, one payment and put the propina in there, okay?
Yeah, we had somebody ask a question too regarding my last video, and somebody explained to him. I think Sam said that yeah, propina. You need to know when you first see it on your check, because I was like, I didn't order no propina. But it says, yeah, it's either sin propina or propina, like the tip is added on. That's all it means, is the tip included or not. And if you're taking things to go, they will ask you, and you need to know up front before they ask you to. And the same with water. Did you learn that with water? What's the question you get for water?
Like that, I didn't really have that with
gas,
the water.
Sin gas. You didn't hear that?
Oh yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Because my friend, like, she would order in the restaurant, send gas. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like water. I'm like, why would I don't want gas in my water. Oh, soda water. Oh,
soda water. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They drink soda water. So
your video I was watching earlier, like your recap, I took a picture of this, like paying for the bathroom was crazy. I'm like, because we when we came down from the Pinot, we had to go to the bathroom, and like, you know, I'm not thinking, so I'm just walking up in the joint. The lady was like, "Hey," she was like, "Permiso, permiso." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "How you doing?" And I kept walking. And she's like looking at me like, so like it was another guy. I guess he spoke a little English. He was like, "You got to pay for the bathroom." I was like, "Pay for the
Yep.
bathroom?" I was like, I mean, it was like 1,000 pesos or
Yeah, it's like 30 cents.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, you got to pay for the bathroom, like whatever, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're making money every kind of which way they can, man.
Yeah,
So
I gotta give them they hustle. Like
oh man, I used to say people, growing up in DC, we said hustle. That means they will find a way. They have a term because my guy Andres told me something. There's a term for it, meaning it's like they find money. That the literal means they find money, meaning, you'll see jugglers, you'll see snap popping at the corner, you see people flying out of the tree, walking a tightrope across the street.
yeah, I saw that and I was like, I was in the Uber and like we was at the red light and the dude pulled out a rope. I'm like, oh man, what's going on? He was like, oh, it's a performer. And the dude's like, I was like, during the red light, like he got time to go on the tightrope across the street, like. Hey, but
he got his timing down too, don't he? He stopped just in time to get that money.
Right, he got the rope when people took off. I mean, I was like, hey, I ain't mad at you. Like, hey, that's the hustle. Like you trying to get. I was like, shoot, let me give him like 5 million pesos or something. I'm like, man, I'm like, all right, you earned that.
Yeah, and it's good to give back, man. That's one reason I like. If you want to give to my charity, somebody asked me, you need to put a donate button up there. So I did. I put a donate button up there if you want to donate to my channel or if you want to donate to El Faro. I put that up there. It's via PayPal. So it's my business account, Texas DigiPros. But I want to at least leave that opportunity out there for anybody who wants to go. I was going to charge to join the group, and then I'm like, man, why would I? No, just come on in. People have a resource where they can find this information. And I appreciate you coming on to explain to the people, especially for their first time. They get to hear from somebody who actually went through the excitement going, the stress leaving.
Right.
Coming back to snow too, that's got to be even rough, man. That's got to be a rough one.
Yeah, so I'm going back on Spirit this time, so I'm gonna see how that works out. But like I was just sitting here, I had to go back to work today. I mean, thank God I work from home, but I was sitting there like all I could do today was just, I'm like, man, I had a wonderful time, and people from work was like, hey man, how was the trip? And I was showing them pictures, and I showed one of my coworkers my video from paragliding, and she was just like, oh my God, she was like, that looked like such an experience, and that's what I want people to know, like, go have experiences in Medellin or wherever, because this is so. I mean, like going to Community 13, like for me, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Like to go there, to see the people, to learn the history of what happened and how it's changed over the years. And I was just like, man, very, very impressive, man. And just the people, the atmosphere, like the little kids running around, they dancing for a couple of little cents. I mean, it was just great. I mean, I had such a great time there.
Yeah, you have to do the El Faro tour when you go back, man. It's humbling. It'll change who you are. But the experiences, man, that when I paraglided, that's my best experience there. But that's my best physical experience ever. I haven't bungee jumped yet. That's on my list. Okay. But I've jumped out of a plane before. Paragliding was better than jumping out of a plane. I enjoyed that. I was up there at least 25, 30 minutes. Just gets a little chilly up there though, don't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the guy was asking, he's like, you don't have a jacket? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. But
you didn't have a jacket on?
Nah.
Oh man,
I'm thick skinned, and like the jersey came out of me, and I was like, nah, I'm good. But then like once we got up there and we started flying, I was like, maybe
wait a minute,
put a jacket on.
No, it dropped like 20 degreys. So let me ask you before we end this, anything you want to pass on to the new guys or experienced guys, anything that you learned that you want to pass on to them, have at it.
Yeah. Again, the people are really helpful. Just go down there. I'm pretty sure like everybody says, oh, you're going to Colombia, oh, blah, blah, blah. Don't be scared. Just go. Like, don't wait for nobody. Go have a good time, have experiences. Don't just stay around like American people. Don't just stay in parqueaderas. Like, go out. Like, go do tours and have a good time and like actually experience the culture, like, you know, eat some of their food, like it looked like a little biscuit thing. Like that was really good. And like try some of the local cuisine. Like I went to a chicken place and like I was like, man, like you were saying in one of your videos, it ain't gonna be no fast food. Like they're gonna like, you want some fried chicken? They're gonna fry it right there. And it was, I was
Sit
like,
down and wait. Was it Frisbees?
Had like a little chicken was it frisbee? I think it might have been, but it was really good and fresh. I was like, wow. I was like, okay. But you know, like you said, like, you know, time is like not, I mean, like people ain't gonna rush, you know, so you got to kind of leave that American time factor kind of to the side, you know, because people are, you know, like you said, you can be at a restaurant for an hour or two. I mean, they're gonna walk past you. If you don't ask for the check, they're gonna just think you chilling. I mean, you can be there all day.
Yep.
So that's like one thing that I had to kind of like get out of my system, like, you know, hey, but go down, just have a good time, enjoy. I mean, again, just have like make your experience count for something. I mean, I had a great time. I met great people. I plugged into the network, which was really helpful, and just enjoy life. You know, I mean, I'm very, very happy that I went down. I mean, yeah, I was scared initially, and again, I went by myself, but I had one of the best times I ever had in my life. I mean, it was a blast.
Absolutely. I know. Same here. You got people are going to tell you, you know, first thing when you tell them where you're going to go, they're going to say, oh, Colombia. Oh, no, you know, that connotates one thing. Then when you say Medellin, then they start thinking, oh, that's even. Oh, no. And they start thinking what happened 20, even though to me, 20 years is not that long ago. All that stuff happened, but it's totally changed now. Well, not totally, but pretty much it's all changed. As far as you're concerned, it's changed. As long as you don't end up on the side, you know, in the favelas. Did you go up to Parque RV?
No, I didn't.
Did you take the cable car at all anywhere?
Yeah, I took the cable car. I mean, that was amazing. Like
which one? The one over by San Javier, the one over by Comuna 13?
The one by Comuna 13, but I rode like all the way from the beginning to the end, and like we came back down.
Is that when you say beginning to the end? Because I got on this one by mistake. When you start going over and you go, wow, this struggle is real down here. You go over the mountain.
Yeah, over the mountain.
And then it goes over again. Yeah, it's rough over there, ain't it?
Man, I was like, I earned a new respect for those folks. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, man, there's no way I could live up there.
And you have to do that tour. You have to do that tour that Andres says for Comuna 8. It's amazing how they live on the side of the mountains. They have mudslides and houses just fall down. It's all from conflict. From other parts of Colombia, they're just farmers that ended up there and building their house. Somebody was there when we walked to the top of the mountain. Somebody was there building their house right there, just like in the woods.
In the woods, wow.
It's humbling, man. It'll change who you are. Yeah, you know. Yeah. You have to travel, guys.
Yeah, I mean that cable car ride was breathtaking. You know, again, I'm like, man, like how can they put a community on the side of a mountain and live? And I was like, man, like look, that just put a new perspective on like we just don't know how lucky we are in this country to have all the conveniences that we have, and you know, all the programs that this country offers you. That like, you know, because I was talking to a couple of Colombians and I was asking like, you know, like what's y'all social welfare like? Do y'all have like unemployment? It was like nah, like unemployment is like you ain't gonna eat. So I was just like, wow. I'm like, wow, that hit me hard. I'm like, now I see like people out there, you know, selling pens and candies and
the little kids with the candies, the family sitting on, you know, with the candies, those little now and later type things. Yeah.
So I was just like, man, you know, we just don't know. Like, you know, we really take on a day-to-day basis, we take a lot of stuff for granted, you know, like I asked one lady, I was like, man, you know, like why people do this, that, and the third. She was like, well, you got to pay rent. I'm like, well, in America, like if you can't pay rent, you can go like Goodwill or wherever and get help. Like that don't exist here. Like either you pay your rent or you get kicked out on the street. I'm like, wow. I'm like, thank you. I live in the country where I live at.
Yeah, but, poor is a relative term. People, you know, you can be poor and homeless here, but still get a meal and a place to stay. There's some places, man, like there on the side of the mountain. I mean, the Philippines, there's some areas, man, that are shocking. I mean, they literally live in the woods. But yeah, the struggle is real for a lot of people, which is one reason I like to give back to this charity. Somebody told me the other day, stop begging. I don't know if I sound like I'm begging or not, but if I am, so be it. because I think the people need help, and I have the ability to do it. So why not? I'm blessed enough to still have a job in the middle of a pandemic. You know, even losing electricity last week, I lost electricity for 3 days, and everything's electric. So the struggle was real, and it was cold. But in the scheme of things, this too shall pass. This will pass, and it's in the 60s again, you know, a few days later. So I know it'll pass. For some of them, it's not going to pass.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like whoever said, like, stop begging, I don't know what they're talking about, because if they travel and they see places like that, like, it's not begging. It's like, you know, we're fortunate enough to have what we have. I mean, like I told one person, like, I don't have a lot, but at least like people down there would love to be in my position. I mean, because like, you know, like one girl told me, like, if she works, she eat, and her kids eat. If she don't work, then nobody eats. And I'm like, that's still hard for me to, like, conceptually, that's like still hard for me to grasp. I'm like, why is there no programs to assist people in need like that? Like, when this third world country, like, it just don't, you know, the government steals the money. I mean, there ain't no government programs. I'm like, wow. I even had to talk with Andrea about that, and I was just like, man, I can't believe that. Like, that's crazy. I'm like, you know, thank God, you know, I was born here, and I'm able to take part in what they offer here. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, excellent, man. I'm glad you got to experience Andres, meeting him, hanging out with him. Yeah. Use him as your driver, guys. I'm glad you got to experience Sweet Georgia Cafe, Rob, the whole crew being plugged in. I'm glad you got to experience Chef Jay at Brooklyn's. Man, you got the paraglide. You walk El Peño. Man, you did a lot during your trip, man. I'm glad you had those experiences. I also want to let everybody know, and I'll let you explain in a second, that you have a podcast. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's called I Love You, Daddy. It's about Black single fathers in America and how we're treated. And we talk about things on how to maintain a relationship with your ex, how to maintain a relationship with your ex's new partner, if that's the situation, how to deal with your ex in-laws, you know, like, what are your parenting responsibilities and rights as a secondary parent? You know, like, I just talk, it's basically me opening up to the world on my experiences as a single Black father in this country, because we're all, you know, we're often overlooked, you know, especially like in the case of divorce. You know, unfortunately, like, this country looks at Black men and say, oh, like, it's your fault. Like, the divorce happened because of you did something wrong. And that's not always the case, you know. And there's a small percentage that, like, fathers have, you know, Black fathers have, like, primary custody of their kids too. So we talk about things like that. And then I started a Facebook group, Daddy's Love. So I'm like starting just a support group. You know, I want people to go in there, tell me your stories, and then, like, you know, I can turn that to one of my episodes of the podcast. And the cool thing about it, on my outro, I actually have my daughter saying, I love you, Daddy, which is really cute.
That's awesome, man. Make sure I have both of those links, you know, before I post this video. Make sure I have it, man. That's I'm proud of you, man. Just turned 50, man. You young brother. I'm 58. You right behind me, but man, you did your 50th right. I'm telling you.
I did. Yeah, man. I'm so excited. I was able to do it. And, you know, again, like, I was kind of scared in the beginning, and people were telling me, like, oh, like, why are you going over there by yourself on your birthday? And blah, 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 blah. Get on out of here with that, man. And now, like, you know, everybody on my Facebook page, like, oh, man, look, like, you had fun. Oh, wow. Yeah. You know, even like my birthday was Friday the 19th. I found this photographer guy, Steven something. But I did a photo shoot for my birthday, and I got the pictures today. I was like, oh my God, they were beautiful. So him and his partner walked me around Medellin, and we took pictures in, like, strategic spots around the city. Came out very nice. Very impressed. Yeah. So again, another experience that I had. So.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that one. Good deal, man.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. Hey, man, thank you. You've been watching me and supporting me before you went down. Hopefully you got something out of the videos. You went there, you enjoyed it, you made it back safely. That's my goal. And so, hey, man, thanks so much for joining us today, Terrence.
Yes, sir. No problem. I appreciate you having me on.
Okay. All right. Hey.
We have a YouTube channel. Like it. Please comment and share if you like the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.